Hello friends, in this video we will look at why newspaper reading is important because many have asked so many doubts as to whether reading newspaper is important or whether to stop newspaper reading before prelims or whether how could I retain all the information in the newspaper or whether I should refer to something else other than newspaper for having a better understanding. So all these questions we'll address in this video. So before going into the video, I would like to talk about the Xinsheng preliminary examination program that we are conducting in Minds of Aspirant. The details of the program I have put up in a previous video, but the details are this: 20 tests will be there, 17 sectional tests, 100 question each. So in the previous video, I would have referred it to a 50 question test, but it is 100 question now. We have changed it because many of the students wanted it to be a prelims like experience. So we have changed it to all the tests. 20 tests will be 100 questions each, and it will be UPSC standard questions. It will not be a factual or a tough question or a easy question, something like that. All the question papers will be designed as UPSC designs its question paper, so that you have an understanding of where you stand in the preparation of preliminary examination and how you are improving. So that should be also seen, and that is what we will see in this Xinjiang program. And it will also have this prelims cracking classes where I would personally take all the syllabus, full preliminary examination syllabus. We will be able to analyze in a way that how it is connected to the previous year question, how these current affairs, people keep asking, how are you going to connect current affairs? Means by reading newspaper, how I understood this examination, I will connect it in every class, the previous year question, today's portion, and the question which might come. So we will do that in the class because it is not a one-day thing. That is why we will have this Xinsheng program, and it also has a mains component. You can look at it. So these are the features of the program. You can look at the Minds of Aspirant channel for further details, and we will clarify any doubts possible. We have given the number. My number is also there in the group. You can ask me and we can clarify, and the batch will start very soon. So we will look at how to clear preliminary examination through that program. But in this video, as I said, newspaper reading is how I actually make this connection of how to clear this examination, and that has helped me a lot in teaching civil services examination. So we will look at how this UPSC has changed right now. It is not the UPSC which was earlier, and why newspaper becomes very essential in today's examination. So let us go into the video. So again, coming back to this question of why this reading newspaper is very important. So if you think about it, I am a personal believer in this concept called as evolution, or this Darwin's, because I happen to have my optional as anthropology. I personally believe in this concept of evolution. I also believe in the fact that it's not only an organic evolution, that is, not only humans or other species evolve, other cultural features that we have surrounding, so marriage, kinship, friendship, or anything that you go through, any social system goes through an evolution. Similar is the case with UPSC. UPSC is an institution. At the end of the day, it is a government organization, an institution where it is evolving every day. It is not a static body. People may say that it is a static body, same thing is happening. Yes, in terms of questions, yes, that is a separate topic that we will discuss in a separate video. How the questions come in UPSC, that is a separate topic. But in terms of the question standards, how it is, that is evolving. And if you look at it, that is why I keep insisting on the fact that reading newspaper is what will help you clear this examination. There may be so many views of opposite views of, and opposite views may say that this material is easier, that material is easier. But if you look at it, I will tell you with in terms of evolution. I'll tell you in terms of evolution why I suggest that reading newspaper is important. Earlier, if you see, before 2010, we will go to that time. Before 2010, this examination was about factual details. Why these factual details were important? You take the question paper from 1990s. From 1990s till 2010, you check these question papers. At those moment, the factual data, that is, for example, what is national park, what is a biosphere reserve, or for example, what are the features of tiger reserve, or you take polity, any law would be passed and they would ask what are the Consumer Rights Act, or what are the features of Consumer Rights Act. You can check 2010 question paper, GS paper, they will have this. These are all factual things. And for factual things, they used to have all these materials, earlier the most important institute in, or most important institute in Delhi, they used to release all these material, and we used to buy that material. A monthly material we will have, and we will underline and we will read and everything. But the point is that after 2010, you understand this one feature which has changed. The one feature which has changed is that UPSC no longer asks what. They are not concerned about what is the feature of national park, what is the feature of Forest Rights Act, what is the feature of federalism. No, they are not talking about what is the feature of federalism. They are in turn talking about why this federalism is important. What is the significance of a federalism, or what is the significance of cooperative and competitive federalism. They are going in terms of the significance. So if you think about it, for that you don't, or you need the basic data, but you need an understanding. Now again, why this change has happened? It is an evolutionary change. You think about it. The world has evolved. You have evolved. You have, in terms of the students, you think about, you guys will be about 2K kids. So I was a 1980s kid. So I used to have all these competition review, all these, Reader's Digest, they should have our Manorama yearbook. They will have all these factual data. We will mug up all those factual data. But post 2010, the world has evolved, because now you have in the click of a button, Google, you have in the click of a button. Now I think there is an artificial intelligence program which is more evolved than Google, giving answers to everything. Now I think I read in a newspaper a few days ago. Now everything is in your pocket. Now you don't have to. Earlier, if I had to before 2010, I should go to a library, or I should take this Reader's Digest, I should take all these factual data, I should write it down, and I should come back home and I should read. That is why we got those materials. That is why, because the materials had all those factual details clubbed together in one place, and we had that, and we used to write the features of the national programs and what and all programs they used to have. But post 2010, the world evolved. Now you don't have to go to a library. Now you don't need all these so you can have Reader's Digest, or you can have so many materials. But now you can click, just a mobile click. Now you don't have to sit in laptop also. Earlier, 2000 till 2014. So that, you think about it. Till 2014, the question standard would be a little little changed. It will not be like the way they are asking right now. Why? Because the world was evolving. You could check the answers in your laptop. You could check your answers in your computers. But now you think about it. Now see the revolution which has happened in the world. Now you have mobile data, you have 4G, now 5G is coming. The world has moved on to a great extent. Now if you think about it, now if I need a detail, I don't have to go and check any material for anything. I can just Google and get that data, and I will have so many data. That is why UPSC changed. Now that is why UPSC does not ask a question of what are the features of this. They give you the features. This is the free trade agreement. These are the features of the free trade agreement. Now explain the significance of this free trade agreement with relation to India and Europe, or they are asking Indo-Pacific. They are not asking what is the Indo-Pacific organization. They are not concerned about Quad or what are the features of Quad. They are concerned about Quad is not only a military organization, rather it is evolving into different dimensions. That is the question they are asking. So if you have to read something, you don't need to know, or you need to know the basics. That is there. That you will get from the click of a button, you will get everything. But you need an analysis. You need an analysis why it is, for example, becoming very important in terms of economic, social, people to people contact, why quad is becoming important. That you get by reading newspaper. That is there, the analysis is there every day. You check the preliminary examination question paper, it was a very simple 4 5 Peru, there was a question on Peru, 2022 question on Peru. Today's paper you check it today, that is 13 January, today's paper you check it, there is an article on Peru. Just by browsing that, you will understand there is a constitutional crisis there, and you can write the preliminary examination answers. There are not much difficult question in preliminary examination. Hence the question of whether to stop whether to stop reading this newspaper before 2 months. This is an old thing. Earlier there used to be a fact that question papers were prepared 2 months before. Yes, today also it is possible. No one knows when they are preparing the question paper. So is it necessary to stop reading newspaper before 2 months of prelims? The point is that earlier we used to stop reading newspaper 2 months before, because we used to read these materials for facts. Facts were necessary for preliminary examination. You check the 2020 question paper, they asked Consumer Rights Act, the 2010 question paper, preliminary examination, 150 question. Look at the question. Consumer Rights Act, in district how much they can give, in state how much, union how much. There is an option given like this. They have given the data. They have asked, for example, who was the Speaker of USA, Nancy Pelosi at that time. Now the new speaker has been formed, but you check in USA. At that time it was Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi was very recently also present. These are all facts. And why we had to stop reading newspaper 2 months before is that because we had to mug up all these facts. Now there is no need for mugging up anything. There is only logic in the question paper. There is only basic subjects and logic based questions in the newspaper. Why? Because I am insisting on this fact is that mains, most of the mains question are pertaining to this region, this period. If we are skipping this region in mains, it becomes difficult. They are going to ask about concept. For example, I will tell you one personal example is that National Investigation Agency and UAPA, this was amended in 2019 during the period in which that was my last prelims. I wrote that prelims, and similarly I used to stop. I stopped reading newspaper for after my fourth attempt itself. And because why? Because many of the toppers they came and said that reading newspaper was worthless. So I used to stop. But the point is that is what cost me this exam. The thing that cost me this exam was stopping newspaper and writing with the same content that I had for all these years. That is why I used to reach very close. For example, I went for 3 interviews after that. 3 interviews, I left it by 2 marks, 5 marks, 10 marks. All these were marks which I could have gained if I had the comprehensive knowledge of a newspaper. Everyday newspaper would have given me that confidence of writing the answers in a more holistic and different perspective. That is why I insist on this fact that today the examination has changed. There is an old model of stop reading newspaper before 2 months. Why should somebody stop reading newspaper is because if you have to mug up something. Now the questions are logic based. Now read the newspaper and the next point is that, so should I see every day if I read, how can I retain a topic in newspaper? Remember this, a topic in newspaper comes for 1 full month. A topic, if they are going to if there is going to be some problem, so let us assume that there is a problem. So now budget is going to come. So budget is going to come in February. From today they have started this budget, or what is the meaning of budget, what is this fiscal deficit, what is this monetary policy, fiscal policy. From today the articles are starting. So from budget they will go for 1 more month. So for budget you don't have to go for any material. You read the newspaper from today, you just browse through the articles, understand the concepts, go for the basics, what is monetary policy, fiscal policy, understand what are the changes happening. You can write very well inside the prelims hall. This is how we clear. And the point is that, okay, I'll come back. So that is why I insist on read newspaper every day. 1 hour is enough. This concept of 2 months before stop, or this concept of how will I revise, all these things are old concepts. Those are old concepts which are now UPSC has evolved. Now the world has evolved. Now you have evolved. So you guys have to think about what is the necessity of reading newspaper. Now the point is that you can ask me this question. So what do I do for, maybe, see, if this fear will be there. See, I have read all these things. I am not able to remember anything during the examination. This fear will be there. Yes, for that, read. If you have to read, there will be a yearly, some compilation will come. See, every day, instead of wasting time, there will be a yearly compilation. That yearly compilation, you read it, any good yearly compilation, because you have automatically read through the year. You have understood all the concepts. You have frequently been seeing all these concepts regularly. You are not seeing it for one day. So if there is a problem in COP20, some COP or conference of parties is happening, or UNFCCC convention is happening, or biodiversity convention is happening, it has to be remembered. I get this point. It has to be remembered. But you should know the significance of all those events. You should have studied that. You should have taken small hints. And then when you go back, and then when you come to this examination, you will have a 1 year compilation. You can take that and you can very well read. For example, one example I'll tell you. There is a Joshima. That is a town which is now getting subsided because of this infrastructure which is happening in Uttarakhand and the other areas in Himalayas. It is being created a very important problem now. You check this mains question paper, you can check it. Definitely some question related to in ethics, some question, or in GS paper 1 geography related question, this will be there. And for that, your basic understanding will be more than sufficient for writing that. If you have to remember the facts, there will be a yearly compilation. You can take that. So do not waste your time in going through all these heights and heights of mountains of material. Instead, read newspaper for 1 hour, not 4 hours, 1 hour, and then you read your standard books. Understand the logic. You go into the examination hall. You will clear this examination. I hope I made this clear, and thank you for watching this video. So as I was earlier saying, we have a Xinsheng program. I'll reiterate again. So you can join that program, and I cannot, in a sense, people ask me how to make clear or how to do all these things. I'm getting only 50 questions, 40 questions. How do I clear all these things? Means, see, it is not a one-day thing. I have to see the evolution. I have to check how it is done. I have to be there, present, so that I can see how the marks have started improving. That is through one. That is why we have this program, Xinsheng program. And you can check the brochures which are there in the group. You can check also the details which are there in the group. You can message or you can call and you can ask for your doubts. And I hope I have made a convincing argument about reading newspaper. This is the most basic of fact for civil services examination, which now I find it very difficult to prove to students that it is very essential. Which is the most important part of an examination, now has become sidelined. Now, why should I read newspaper? That is the question everyone asks. So, for example, you can have, and again, I'll make this disclaimer, you can have a different opinion. You are very well. I am very happy for you, and you can take your own thing. This is my opinion. This is my view, or this is what I feel that UPSC has evolved, or how UPSC should be cracked. This is a stress-free way of cracking UPSC. This is something which a working professional can do, because they don't have that much time. They can read newspaper, they can read the basic books, but they will not have enough time for going through all these mountains of materials. So I would suggest go for the basics, go for the basic material, basic understanding, basics of everything, basics of these editorials, basics of all these concepts. and the basics of everything will lead you to a better life or a new life. That is what Xinjiang means. Xinjiang means new life. That is what will happen. There will be a new life. You can check preliminary examination this time. I hope this video was useful. Thank you for watching. All the best.